You're listening to Catalyst Talks, conversations with change agents, outliers, superheroes, and truly conscious leaders modeling what it is to be an unstoppable force for good in this world. What lit these catalysts on fire to do their work, and what nuggets of wisdom can they share with a world literally on fire? This podcast is for you who cares deeply and seeks to catalyze the world. I'm your host, Stephanie Trager. I'm a consciousness catalyst and soul coach to superstar change agents in business, leadership, and life. In this podcast, I wear an eclectic mix of hats, including earthkeeper, healer, mindset coach, lawyer, business, sustainability, and impact strategist. My intention is holding space for higher purpose, peak wellness, and soul mastery so we can live in harmony with ourselves, each other, and nature. The whole idea of Catalyst Talks in these conversations is to awaken consciousness, unlock higher purpose, and learn what it really takes to catalyze change in that scale. Subscribe to our new podcast and help us grow. We're aiming to reach 1 million people at least in 2020. Let's wake up the world together. Hello and welcome back to Catalyst Talks podcast. And thank you for joining me for the third part of the Unlocking Higher Purpose series. Today we're diving into peak wellness and purpose. What does peak wellness have to do with purpose or higher purpose? That's what we're going to unpack today. And if you've been joining me on this journey, I am really curious to know how the coaching questions, which we will be compiling a workbook for, and we'll be emailing that out to you. So if you haven't gone through the questions yet, you will be receiving them, but you got to sign up first. So if you haven't signed up for the Unlocking Higher Purpose series, please go to stephanietrager.com. You can sign up there, or you can check the show notes. We have some links for you there. Okay, thank you for being here again. Peak wellness. What is peak wellness? Peak wellness is so many things, and it means so many different things to different people. So the question is, what does it mean for you to be in a state of peak wellness? Wellness is physical, it's spiritual, it's emotional, it's energetic, it's so many things. It's individual, it's personal, it's collective, it's relational. I mean, there's just so many dimensions to wellness, and especially to peak wellness. And today we're going to be working through 3 prongs of peak wellness. There is the part of wellness that has to do with us individually. How am I doing in my body, my soul, and my mind? How am I doing in my emotions? How's my energy field rocking, right? Like what's going on in my life personally. Then we're looking at how our journey towards wellness is impacting others. And it might be that we're not even on the journey of wellness, but how our existence, how we live is impacting others, whether it's the environment, nature, animals, other beings, or other people. Then we want to look at the third prong, which is how our wellness is contributing to the overall collective wellness and what that actually really means, why it's so important, because there's a system of energetic reciprocity there. How when we're contributing to the higher vibration, raising the frequency on the planet, and the specific action steps we take to do that, and not only action, but also the way we're being in order to do that, how we receive, the energy of the collective reciprocates for us and feeds us and helps us achieve higher states of peak wellness. So those are the 3 prongs we're going to be diving into today. And I want to give you a framework. There's a framework that's going to unfold as we talk about each. So let's just start with our own personal peak wellness. What does this mean for us? Why is it so important when we're on this journey from the identity space, the old identity, then the identity trap, and then the identity purpose as we're moving out towards more alignment with our soul, more alignment with who we really are. And then as we reach towards higher states of purpose, higher purpose, what does peak wellness have to do with this? Well, it really has everything to do with it. And if you're not paying attention to your physical wellness, but you're really very focused on your impact in the world and creating solutions to big problems on the planet, but you're not really looking at your physical body, your spiritual body, your emotional body, and taking care of these pieces, then there's a rift in alignment. There's a level of cognitive dissonance that's happening there. So how do we really show up in wholeness? Peak wellness is wholeness in our whole entire being, and how we show up in alignment with our values, in alignment with our highest potential, in alignment with our highest well-being. And part of this includes taking responsibility for our health, taking responsibility for our physical state, emotional state and spiritual state, energetic state, and really learning how to manage the energy of all of these pieces while we're contributing to good. while we're aligning our values, while we're just, it's no longer okay to like cut things out and think that we are actually creating a solution to the world. Like it's a question of, you can look at this as a spectrum as well. Am I cutting out sugar? This is just an example. Am I cutting out sugar so that I feel good? But not really paying attention or connecting dots to other parts that are impacting me, other ingredients. This is just a high level example. We want to look at our peak wellness in all three of these prongs. Let's dive deeper now into peak wellness and our individual state. This is not going to be the longest podcast, my friends, because I need you to come join me on Friday on the Facebook Live, where we're going to go deeper into this. So peak wellness in the personal state, I want to share a framework that's really, really powerful. It's very simple, but it's very powerful. And what we want to do is we want to start off by doing inventory. And this is the same thing when we're doing our personal inventory, when we're looking at our identity issues, when we're looking at speaking our truth. Let's start with inventory. An inventory, when it comes to peak wellness, can include the emotional journaling and like guided journaling. And in coaching, this is what I do with people. So I can tell you, and I do it with myself all the time, up leveling. Peak wellness means up leveling all the time. Peak anything means you don't just get there and you're there. You continue. It's an evolutionary iterative process. So you continue to go back to step one. And step one is inventory. Where am I right now? How's my emotional state? How's my spiritual state? How's my physical state? And in each one of these categories, what kind of tests or what kinds of inventory do you need to do in order to get the full picture, the reality, the truth of where you are? And when we're talking about the physical body, that might mean going and getting blood tests. It might mean getting a test that shows what's going on in your microbiome, in your gut. It might be getting certain other tests that are going to help you really uncover what's going on in your physical body. And it could be energetic also. It might mean, hey, it's time for a session with the shaman. It might mean it's time for some Reiki. It might mean it's time for a reading of where you're at. It might mean therapy if you're working with a psychotherapist. It could be all kinds of things, but we do inventory and we have to get that base state. Where am I now? And then the next step in peak wellness for our body, for our physical self. And when I say physical self now, I'm talking about our individual self. This includes, because everything is everything, everything is connected. It includes your spiritual, your emotional, and your energetic states. So when you do that inventory for all of those pieces, then we look at detox. What do we need to detox? Who do we need to cut out of our life? What do we need to cut out of our life? What food do we need to cut out? What supplements do you think are helping you, but they might not be? What do you need to cut out? And it doesn't necessarily mean that. What do you need to cut out? And that's what the detox is, right? It's what is not in alignment with where my body is right now. This process of the inventory process is not only external people telling you what's up with your body or your energy or your spiritual self. This is about you, like all of us, fine-tuning our intuition, fine-tuning our ability to discern what's going on with us. And so once I take you through this framework, you're going to be like, oh yeah. And as you continue to go back to step one and you go through this framework over and over again, and this is juicy gold here. I hope you write this down and actually do it. But once you go through this a few times, you start to really become more clear. Your brain is clear. Your intuition is the volume is up. You start to be able to really listen and discern from your body. So when people always say to me, I've been on this path for 20 something years, really investigating the best supplements, the best superfoods, the best, cleanest, purest products out there, or going straight to the source and just having pure herbs, wildcrafted this, wildcrafted that. I'm really, really, really always looking for the purest. Peak wellness is back to our natural state, basically. And so what are all the things we're putting in our body that are actually kind of masking homeostasis, because they're not natural, it's artificial, or it's been processed or synthesized. Even a lot of wellness products that are super pure and awesome, sometimes our body is just calling for one ingredient, one thing, because it's too much to process all of these different things. 45 superfoods in a shake. Maybe that's not what your body needs right now. Maybe it needs simple. Maybe it needs one. So detox. Maybe it just needs water. And it's really an individual process, and learning how to discern and learning how to listen and learning how to read food. Okay, this is another story. So we've got the inventory, then we do the detox, cutting out, and detox could also be a cleanse. And those are two different things. Those are two different things. We'll go deeper into that if you join me on Friday. If you have any questions about this, please email, and you'll find all the details on the in the show notes. So definitely reach out if any of this is like bringing up questions for you, because yeah, there's a lot here and it's personal. We do inventory, then we do the detox or the cleanse, and then we go to add. We add in what we need. We build. So inventory, detox, add or build. And what is that? Maybe we need to build muscle. Maybe we need to build discipline. Maybe we need to build a new house and move, Really, what do we need in our personal life, in our physical life, in our spiritual, emotional, and energetic life in order to nourish, in order to build, in order to, become more flexible, to shred, to really clean out the cave. You've just cleaned out the cave. And now what do we need to fill it with in order to operate at a state of peak wellness? This is each one of these stages is so important. So I could say this is the most important stage, which I almost said, but really adding, it's what you add is so important. This is where the intuition happens. This is where reading food, when I say reading, I'm talking about energetic reading. When you go to a restaurant, who is cooking your food? Have you ever just taken a peek in the kitchen to see what kind of products they use on their shelves? What are their main condiments that they're pouring into the food? Do you look at those things? Because who's preparing your food? Do they look happy? Do they have a weird energy? Are they touching your food that then going into your mouth? There's so many different layers to peak wellness, including who is cultivating our food. Then, adding, where did our food come from? And who did it maybe harm in the process of getting to us? Food or supplements or anything. When you're buying supplements that are like from Costco and they are some brand that also makes batteries, like what is that? How far removed from the source are those herbs that might be, in a vitamin? How far removed from your personal health are these supplements? How far removed from nature are these supplements? And what happened to what are all the pieces? Who are all the players in the supply chain for this beautiful thing that was once natural to get to you? Unpacking all of that is part of the detox. It's part of the inventory, actually, and then it's part of the detox. And then when we're adding things, it's about discernment and reading, learning how to read the energy of what we're buying, knowing, also doing research and really reading the words on the page about what is this product, what's in it, who made it, where did it come from. Maybe it came from a farm where the neighbors were impacted because of Monsanto's Terminator seed. Like, you really want to know where your food, your supplements, your herbs, where everything is coming from and who it impacted. But that's not where we are right now. We're talking about personal. I mean, that does impact you personally. The energy from everything is feeding your body. So it's feeding your energy body too. We want to be careful of what we're putting in our body because it has an energetic impact and imprint. So we go from inventory, then we're doing our detox or our cleanse, and then we're adding and building. And then the next step is listening. So we want to listen and see, this beautiful pure herb might actually be great for somebody else, or someone recommended it for you, but it's starting to have a weird result or impact on your body or your emotions or some other part of your state. And so being able to listen, this is after you've added, now you're listening and you're hearing, how is this working for me? Do I feel good? Do I need to make adjustments? Don't just stay on the routine because you have a routine. And this is really important for your own proactive sovereignty of your bodies to understand, how is this impacting me? Okay, so now you have also to think about, how is this impacting your immune system? How is this impacting your nervous system, your gut health, your spirit? Do you have allergies, or are you sensitive? How is this? Are you feeding yourself probiotics? And like really listening, are they working? Are they causing harm? Do I need to readjust? So this is the last step. It's adjusting. So you've got inventory, detox, adding and building, listening, and then adjusting or recalibrating, because the recalibrating is so important. That's where it's like, do I just need to do a little bit of fixing here or there, or do I need to start over and go back to the inventory? So listening is really, really important. And once you're in that listening phase, you really start to build that muscle of intuition, okay, and discernment for your own body. So these are the steps, the framework that you can do for your own individual wellness, your peak wellness journey. The next step, the next prong I want to apply this to, and I'm going to do this part really quickly because I could go on and on for this. This is where I'm really passionate. Our personal wellness really is connected to our impact in the world. So are we also mindful of, and I was mentioning this about where did our stuff come from? Who did it harm in the process of getting to us? Really understanding that. So this second prong is, how is our peak wellness journey or our wellness journey impacting the system? And really understanding that is very, very powerful. So this goes to contributing to solutions, and it goes to really refining and fine-tuning our own integrity, our own values, our own, I call this the integrity yardstick. Like, how far out are we willing to measure our integrity and our impact in the world? This goes to the idea of cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is a psychological theory, which is, it was way, way, way in ancient times beyond theory. It was it was like something that ancient healers always looked at. Like, how are you living in alignment? Are you congruent with your values, your thoughts, and your beliefs? Because that was the kind of cause of a lot of illness. However, in the 70s, Leon Festinger is the psychologist who coined the term cognitive dissonance. And this refers to when we know something's bad for us or harming something, but we do it anyway. We know that we are not really in alignment, or we don't really match our values, or we don't really match our values to this thing that's happening, but we do it anyway. And we can either acknowledge it and it's really hard and painful, or we can pretend we don't see it, but we can't unknow what we know, because we always know what we know now. And somewhere in our psyche lives that knowing. And the question is, what is it doing to our personal, emotional, spiritual, mental health? It's sneaky, and the dissonance hides out. It hides out in our psyche. And I really do believe that it is actually harming us on some level, causing illness, chronic illness, disease, even if we're not even aware of it. So that's why it's so important to really live in alignment with your values. And as we grow in our consciousness and really reach towards higher purpose, this values alignment is so important, and really continuing to investigate and do inventory about how we can improve our impact. So again, the process of doing inventory, detox or cleansing, adding, listening, and then recalibrating, this applies to the second prong as well. Okay, we're going to go deeper again if you join me on the Facebook Live, and if you sign up for the Higher Purpose series, the Unlocking Higher Purpose series, you'll get the questions that I'm giving you to guide you in this inventory, to guide you in the cleanse and detox, to guide you in the adding phase and the listening phase and the recalibrating phase for all three of these prongs personally, how we're impacting the system. And then the third prong, and I'm going to finally wrap up here, but this third prong is around the collective vibration. How are we contributing to the collective vibration? And when I say that, that can also include literally physically contributing solutions to harms on the planet. We had David Katz, the CEO and founder of Plastic Bank, on the podcast. If you listen to that podcast, you'll hear this is somebody who saw a problem and has created a huge solution to the problem. Learn about the plastic banks. So amazing. So I'm talking about this. Are we contributing to the solutions on the planet? And then again, so that's in the physical realm. Are we contributing spiritually to the vibration on the planet? Are we complaining all the time about the news and the politics and and like just feeding the negativity? Are we fighting in protest, or are we there raising the conversation with conscious communications and really, really contributing to the collective vibration, the higher vibration and frequency we all need on this planet right now? And how are we contributing to just holding space for a better world, holding that vision for the world we really want to see, and living in alignment with that? And again, living in alignment with that is so important. And that comes back to this process again, looking at this, doing inventory. How am I living in alignment with this vision for the world that I want to see, that I talk about? Am I, and how am I not? And that's where we go into the detox and the cleanse. And then what can I add to be more in alignment with this world and this collective that I want to contribute to? And then am I listening? And then am I recalibrating? Because we're not going to be perfect, right? We can't get this right on the first shot. It's a process, an iterative process, and it could take years and decades for us to get to that place of values alignment with living in harmony with the world we want to see, so that we can contribute to the collective well-being, the collective peak wellness. So I firmly believe we can live in harmony with each other, with nature, and with ourselves when we look at this beautiful opportunity to achieve peak wellness and we actually commit to a process to aligning and creating peak wellness in our own life and in how we're impacting the system and in how we are contributing to the collective peak wellness. And when we contribute to the collective peak wellness, we are actually going to be receiving back. When we contribute to the system, we're receiving back. We're always receiving back. It's a feedback loop. Anything we put out in the world is coming right back to us. So thank you for being here. I'm just going to wrap this up. We have 3 prongs to peak wellness: our individual peak wellness, how we're contributing to the system, and how we are contributing to the collective. And in this opportunity that we have right now to go really, really deep, I offer you this framework. And if you want to take this deeper for yourself on a one-on-one basis, definitely reach out. Go to stephanietrager.com. We're here to serve, to elevate consciousness, to help you achieve peak wellness, and to help you align to your higher purpose, because peak wellness is so important for this path to higher purpose. It's like the speedboat to higher purpose. You know, we have this vessel we get to use, we get to fine tune, we get to align, we get to embody who we really are becoming here individually and collectively. And how we do it is so important. How we embody who we are becoming is like the key to actually getting there on the speedboat. So again, that framework is doing inventory, the detox or cleanse, adding and building, listening, recalibrating. And hope you wrote that down. I look forward to hearing from you. I really want to hear how this landed for you. And thank you for joining us on the Higher Purpose series, Unlocking Higher Purpose. This is the 3rd part, and we have 3 more parts. So please join me next episode. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Catalyst Talks. Stay tuned for what's up next, and please subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen. You'll find those links at catalysttalks.com. Join us as we continue this conversation on social media, and if you'd like to reach out to me privately, you can send me a message at stephanietrager.com. Your attention here means the world to me. Thank you.